Our guest today is the President and Chief Executive Officer of the McCormick Foundation. He is the past President, Publisher, and Chief Executive Officer of the Los Angeles Times. Prior to that, our guest today was President, Publisher, and Chief Executive Officer of the Chicago Tribune Company. He earned his bachelor's degree from Harvard College and his law degree from Harvard Law School. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the City Club of Chicago, David Hiller. David?
All right,
Have fun up there.
All right. Thank you, Jay Doherty. I was actually thinking of trying to become the publisher of the New York Times and make it a trifecta, but I don't think that's happening. Great to be here at the City Club. Good to see all of you. There are even a few people here who are not grantees of the McCormick Foundation. Nice to see you also. Actually, as you'll hear about, I did invite a number of our grantees, and I'll tell you why in a little bit as we get into this. It's a real pleasure to be at the City Club, so aptly named. Jay, you turned this is clearly one of the preeminent public forums in the city. And I especially want to thank you for inviting me to be the closing act of your season. I was sitting next to Father Ryan, and he said something about whether this was like the Last Supper. And I had absolutely no idea how to respond to that. In any case, this is great for me to be here. I am a Chicago kid. That's me and my brothers. I don't know if you can tell who I am. This was starting out on a lifetime of broken dreams. And I still wear those PJs. I went to Maine Township High School out in Park Ridge, but far better known for graduates Hillary Rodham, Harrison Ford, and Steve Goodman, another long-suffering Cub fan. And I've been back here pretty much since law school, except for 2 adventurous years I had, as Jay mentioned, as the publisher of the Los Angeles Times. We probably have some other pictures at some point during this time, but I said I was so cute. You can leave it on, that's right. I lasted almost exactly 6 months with Sam Zell until we decided, actually he decided, that we would go our own ways. I have to tell you one other quick story. The day Sam, it was like 2 years ago now to the day, Sam called me up and said, I want to see you in my office. And I said, all right. So I had a couple days to think about what it was, including fielding a call from the Wall Street Journal, another great investigative media. They called up and said, is there any truth to the rumor that you're about to be fired as publisher? I said it'd be news to me. We'll see. Any case, then in that context, when Sam invited me to his office, I wasn't really sure what was going to happen. But my mother, bless her heart, that many of you have met, called me up and said, well, Sam probably wants to make you CEO of the whole company. And again, for those of you who know her, know now where I get my optimism. In any case, I'm now completing my almost exactly first year as president of the McCormick Foundation. When I told somebody I was going from the newspaper business to the foundation world, they said, well, how does it feel moving from one nonprofit to another? Only kidding, Tribune people. They'll get the first question. They will actually say they're making barrels of money still, right? Fewer than we did, but still good to hear. Any case, enough about me. So let's talk about our foundation. Our foundation was created by Robert R. McCormick, who was the longtime publisher and editor of the Chicago Tribune. And Jay, I was trying to tell, isn't one of those guys over there you? Over on the right? You were probably, that was the cornerstone setting. In any case, Colonel McCormick built up the paper. He moved Tribune Company into what were then the 2 new media of his time, radio and then television. And he left all his money to the charitable trust that became our foundation. And he left his property in Wheaton, Illinois, in trust forever for the people of Illinois, Cantini Park. Now I have to ask, how many people here have been out to Cantini? Oh, well, that's pretty good. So you may not need the discount cards that I put at everyone's place. But if you look there, there's a you're an official Cantini Advantage member. No free golf yet, but plenty of discounts to other things, and we hope if you've been there, come out again. We've got great programming, including on July 17th. We've got Gary Sinise and the Lieutenant Dan Band doing their concert in support of veterans, which is a dear cause to us and the community, so come on out and go to that. But we'd love to see you out there. So, why would we still talk about McCormick, and why would we do that here at the City Club? Well, there are some historical parallels, actually, beginning with, if I can quote from the website from the City Club, when the City Club began, it operated amidst adverse social and working conditions and a notoriously corrupt political system. The City Club took a leadership role in working to improve these conditions. Well, Jay? It's good we're still in business. Anyway, about the same time McCormick was getting his start in Chicago, although first as a public citizen, even before he was a newspaper man. Not a lot of people know this, but in 1904, a year after the City Club was founded, McCormick was only 23, and he won a bid to become an alderman from the 21st Ward. And actually, a year later, was elected president of the sanitary district, which at the time was thought to be a festering swamp of patronage, inefficiency, and corruption. Hearsay, yeah. I don't know whose quote that was, actually. But he also got into some great battles with Samuel Insull, who was then the head of Commonwealth Edison, wanted to put hydroelectric dams and block up all the rivers in and around Chicago. In any case, that was the kernel. Now, a lot of things are better than they were in 1903, but some things aren't. And in fact, I'd say in some ways it's not an exaggeration to say that Illinois borders on being a failed state. And as many of you in the room know, the recipe for doing this is pretty well known to us. Widespread public corruption, a gridlock government that can't decide the people's business, basically bankruptcy at every level of government, and a public that's increasingly frustrated and disaffected with what's going on. Now, in 2009, there's a Civic Health Index released that was done by the National Conference on Citizenship, which Congress charters to do this, to track civic health across America. And it ranked Illinois 40th out of 50 states in terms of overall measures of civic health. And part of that one fact that just kind of jumped out, only 15% of people in Illinois said they believed that state government did the right thing most of the time. Now, the good news is that this city and this club and this very room are filled with people who are committed to making things better in our city and state. And I'd like to talk about some of the work of some of these people, which we're very proud to help support as part of our mission. And the work I want to talk about falls into three main areas, and they intersect. One is education, both during the earliest years of childhood and then throughout one's lifetime. Second, access to community news and information that people need to make a city and state better. And third, opportunities for all of us, but particularly for young people, to be engaged in the civic business. So, as many of you know, having a strong community starts with education, including in the various earliest years. Research shows that the early years after birth are a key time for brain development and also the early development of cognitive and social skills. Unfortunately, research also shows that by the time a lot of kids get to